Welcome to MidLIFE Matters, where we celebrate women's wisdom and wit. I'm Georgianne Lucier, your host, and I'm delighted to introduce today's guest, Linda Albright, who is a Certified AI Strategist, focusing on women leaders helping us all adapt to this changing world. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
This is going to be so exciting.
Yes, it is.
You lead this AI Accelerator Lab to guide leaders through what you call the messy middle, right? Yeah. A process, hopefully, that helps us use AI to be practical and ethical and all the goodness that it offers.
Yes.
Let's talk about your perception of how women can play a unique role and what makes us maybe inherently coming at it from a little different direction.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question.
All right.
Yes. So I'm a huge proponent of AI for good and women using AI because we are shaping AI as you use it. The big companies are training it in the way that we know how to use it, but as we use it and get our hands on it, our vision, our values, and our voice is actually being kind of baked into the AI itself. For example, if AI is only being used by a certain segment of the population, it's going to be biased. It's so important. I feel like we have an opportunity as women to actually affect change in ways we've not had before by using AI. I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit how you became a certified AI strategist.
Yeah. So I've been what's called an early adopter of disruptive technologies for 25 plus years. That means I see technology coming at us and I'm like, whoa, that's going to change things. And I get involved and I either build my own businesses or I help other people build their businesses. And I've been doing this for 30 years. Way back when people thought we were crazy to launch something called a .com.
Yeah.
So I've watched all the technical revolutions. When I saw AI in 2022, 2023, I went, whoa, this is going to change our lives in ways we can't imagine, and it's starting to happen. So I just dove right in. And I feel like all the tech revolutions we've had up until this point have led us to this point, and it's somewhat of a inflection point as a human species, and it's up to us of how it goes. Dystopia, utopia, it's up to us.
And it's a very rapid rate.
It's
correct? Compared
dizzying.
To other,
it's dizzying. Give you an example. So when the internet first arrived, it took months and months and months to get, or maybe even 2 years, to get about 100 million users. AI, it took 2 months. The adoption and the speed at which it's changing are just dizzying. You've probably used it yourself. You know, it's a different beast than it was just even 2 months ago. I teach these programs, and it's hilarious because when you teach, which I've done for years, you can usually kind of reuse the material. You can't reuse the material in AI because it changes so quickly. So yes, it's a dizzying speed. Most of us don't have bandwidth, time, or even interest to keep up on it. So that's what we like to do, is kind of filter the noise and just tell women what they need to focus on. You can't bury your head in the sand,
right?
And you don't have time to keep up on all of it. So we try and filter out the noise, and just our whole passion and mission is just to help women succeed. And of course, to do that today, you have to adopt AI.
And you're also doing things with the more general population as well.
We are. We have a couple different training programs. We are helping the U.S. military get up to speed with AI. We are in corporate training environments, and then we run our own training programs. And we also do consulting with bigger companies of how are they going to roll this out. There's so much fear around AI, understandably.
Right.
And we'll talk about that, jobs and what's it going to do to our culture and our kids, and those are significant issues.
Yeah, and the data centers.
And the data centers.
And people's perceptions.
Yes, environment, yes, all of those.
Around that, there's a trend to want to kind of not make some of the mistakes of previous years, perhaps with social media, and introduce some regulations.
Yep.
That is something that, obviously, that would be towards having a more safe, humanistic future, but what about your perspective on the likelihood of kind of bad actor countries not concerned about ethics? Their population is not going to be listened to as far as data centers. Is it really an AI race?
Thank you. They do say that the AI race is the new nuclear arms race, which I believe is probably true.
Okay.
And it's the prisoner's dilemma. Well, if we stop, China's going to keep going. And so what do? Do you clamp down on regulations? Europe has done a good job. They've established some regulations that seem to be working well for them, but you know how we are innovative in America. We don't want to clamp down. What's interesting is when you see what states are doing.
Okay.
Connecticut passed one of the most comprehensive AI regulation bills, which is amazing. So there's 4 different parts to it to, take care of our kids and things like and ethics and privacy. As states start to wake up and take action, I think that is a good sign. Here's my take on it. And I have a friend who just wrote a book, AI Dystopia or Utopia.
Okay.
The choice point is now. It really is. And in my experience, whoever's pulling the levers, who's using AI. So if women and the good people are sitting out, that's not going to bode well. If we get involved, I think we have a chance for this to actually usher in our next renaissance, quite frankly. We're at this inflection point, remains to be seen.
And what do you think women inherently bring to the table that can influence every aspect of it? Yeah.
I think because we take care of the hearth and the tribe, and we connect dots and we see sort of the bigger issue. And that's always been our role. The men are the conquerors. They spear the beast and bring it home for the families to eat, so to speak. That may sound traditionally sexist, but I think there's something about the feminine energy and perspective. I think we talked about this. Jeffrey Hinton, who's considered the godfather of AI, literally said to Anderson Cooper that AI must include a maternal instinct to avoid dystopia. So what that means is because we are caretakers and because we can see the downstream effect of if we do this, that might hurt that. If we don't put a guardrail here for our kids, there's unfortunately examples of suicides and things like that will happen. I think women are also polymaths. What does that mean? We're able to take from different environments and understand the connections. We don't just have blinders on and looking at one thing only. I actually firmly believe that the future of the planet rests in women's hands, not because men are bad, but because we haven't yet assumed the position or exerted the influence that we could, for a whole host of reasons.
I think I spend a good amount of time each day, an hour or whatever, looking at different emerging things about AI. I don't see a lot of women. If things are moving that fast and the leaders of the companies that are most prevalent, and even Jeffrey Hinton, I think, has, reservations, right?
Yes.
How do women scale up fast enough as leaders?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, it's awareness. So thank you for this. Like realizing you can't, if you stick your head in the sand, you will get left behind. I always say, do you want to be Blockbuster? You want to be Netflix? Like it's coming regardless. And then education. And then groups. This is what we do. We have educational programs. We have communities, just women supporting women, so that we can balance this thing out and usher in a utopia instead of the alternative.
Well, I'll have to check that book out. Okay. It's currently being used in all industries, legal, education, healthcare, arts, transportation, affecting both businesses and consumers, right? People using it,
Everywhere.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
So where have you seen the greatest impact currently?
Because I'm in business, it's very clear to me that businesses have to adopt or they'll die. And every business owner I know is grappling with this. So that's one clear lane. And all types of businesses. It's not like, it's just for tech businesses. No, it's for every business. And there's different departments within a business that can use it. So that's what we help people figure out. But, healthcare, radiology, even someday AI could probably solve the climate crisis, even though it could be a contributor to the crisis. It might be able to figure out things we haven't been able to see yet. It is as exciting as it is terrifying.
I have heard some say, in the next 5 years, these are all predictions, of course, we won't really have apps. We won't really have cell phone devices as we know them now. It'll be more wearables.
Yeah.
There'll be I picture a stream of information that you plunge into.
Yes. The answer is yes, and I'm not sure 5 years. Nobody knows the timing.
Right.
Some say we're already at this super intelligence level. Some say no, it's still 5 to 10 years out. Timing, we don't know. We just know it's rapidly accelerating. I love that you brought that up because I don't know if our nervous systems are ready for this.
Right.
Because it's not a world of science fiction anymore. It's a world of science fact. And so that's what we like to focus on, especially as women, is what's the inner game that we need to not play, but be aware of, because the world is so stressful.
Right.
So we believe, and I think I'm also a certified yoga teacher, so I believe that you've got to have the yin and the yang, and the masculine and the feminine, and the balance of the inner and the outer. So while you're focusing on AI tools and how productive they can make you, you also want to take a step back, take a breath, and realize, okay, put my feet in the grass.
Right.
And take a moment just to appreciate what's all around me, because that will never change.
Absolutely. As I've, shared with you, I do human resources work, and it seems like the jobs that are most person-to-person, kind of hands-on, let's say some part of healthcare, not necessarily education, and people who do service work, like things people would enjoy, like entertainment, maybe sports, where the human body is more
Central.
engaged.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're working with that. So it seems like those kinds of jobs are less at threat. Instead, if you can do your job in a closet with a computer, you're likely
If
to
you're a
be
knowledge
facing.
worker. Yeah.
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 Yeah. The big question is, am I going to lose my job? Is AI going to
Right.
take my job? Is it going to, it depends on who you ask. Here's my viewpoint on it is, yes, it will take some jobs. There's no question. What I'm excited about is, so we're human beings, not human doings. So if AI can do all the doing, which it can, and is increasingly so, then what does it mean to be human in an AI world? Well, I actually think, and this goes back to my art history roots. As you know, I studied art history. My first career is in the art world. And I actually think we're in somewhat of a dark ages right now, as in the 1300s. And our renaissance is coming, where our human expression, our potential to be freed up is a possibility in this age of AI. Whether we get there or not, it's kind of up to us. As we talk about,
Right.
we're kind of in this messy middle birth canal. Back to jobs. Some jobs will be replaced. There is a saying that I agree with, which is AI may not take your job, but someone who knows AI will take your job. What this offers for knowledge workers or any other worker is, AI is not going to replace the human wisdom or judgment. It's smart, but it's honestly just gobbling up all the information that's out there. It doesn't have our humanness, our spiritual core yet. Will it? Probably not. Some say it will. But so that's irreplaceable. So I think there's a place for humans. What do we do for jobs? How does that play out? We'll just have to see. My invitation to people is embrace it, and then expand on those human talents that you haven't had time to expand on. Whether that's, I don't just mean like be an artist or be a writer. I mean, look at the world and solve problems that the world has, because now you're freed up to do so. Does that make sense?
It does, and it brings up a whole, model of having a job, mortgage,
Yeah.
pensions, security,
On its head.
your kids' education.
On its head.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. But I actually think in this age of increasing robotization, I think the human connection is going to be the gold, the absolute gold. I mean, who among us likes to make a phone call to a doctor's office and not get a human?
Right.
Nobody wants that. My son works for a tech company, and he's in the sales department. And what's fascinating is it's a very AI savvy company. They have AI working all the time, but it reaches a point where a human is needed. And I don't think that will ever be replaced. And sometimes the prospect is able to talk to an AI bot instead of a human, and those people get mad at the bot.
Yeah.
Even though they chose it. They're like, just give me a human.
Right.
So I don't think we're replaceable. I think we're just going to have to shift. What does work mean? What does being human mean?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
As an HR person, I heard predictions, so say of every 5 white-collar jobs, particularly entry-level. I mean, I don't know how we're going to ever build
The workforce
subject matter
management.
expertise, et cetera,
Right.
because the normal path will be very disrupted. 4 might go away. So I've seen examples where people are postulating that, let's say in an artistic entertainment field, you might have a lot of, animation and AI work going on that previously people did, which is, of course, a great threat to the arts, being able to do all of the things that humans are so eloquent in doing. There may be one person where maybe there used to be 5
Yeah.
making decisions based on their wisdom, their experience. Somehow they got up there before all this changed, or they're just incredibly gifted and recognized for that. So that, to me, the numbers game is concerning because, yes, we always will need people. What's the percentage and what does that mean about how people think about what they do?
That's why I think it's a real inflection point as humanity, because I think all of the models we grew up with
Right.
will be replaced, but we don't know with what.
Yeah.
So if they don't get the college degree and do the internship and work their way up the ladder, then
Right.
what do they do?
Yes.
I think we get to figure that out together as humanity if we're awake enough and, not scared
Right.
to craft the future we want. I mean, that's what we've done throughout history. Humans
Right.
craft their future.
Right.
So,
Well, and with the rate of change, I mean, I think it's maybe, what did they say? Courage is fear that has said its prayers, right? So we can be fearful and at the same time courageous
yeah.
about
Yeah.
asking questions and considering options and possibilities.
Yeah. That's why sticking your head in the sand is just not,
Right.
not a good thing to do. Just be awake, aware. And I'm telling you, I just feel when we get the good people on the levers, this will be AI for good. If
Okay.
we step away, understand there's a huge population of the young people who want nothing to do with it, and I understand. But it's going to railroad them. So we have to make peace with this.
Yeah, I've seen AI speakers of large companies, being booed at graduation ceremonies, right?
Yes.
So these graduates might have used AI for their studies, and now they're seeing and have maybe even a deeper appreciation for the threat it can pose.
Yeah.
And so they're hearing someone talk and, talking about all the wonderful benefits that are potentially there.
What is interesting, as you probably know, is, there was this big wave of companies laying people off or not hiring because they're going to use AI instead. And most AI pilots have failed.
Okay.
MIT did a study last year. Most of them have failed. Why? Because they failed to realize that this is a revolution on two levels. Technological, obviously, but human. So change management and understanding what part did the people play that
Right.
if you can't just replace with a bot. And so, we're learning as we go along.
Yeah. I mean, that's really workflow analysis.
You know this,
right?
yeah.
No,
You know
absolutely.
this,
It's,
yeah.
and looking at, also, I mean, there's principles about what makes jobs satisfying.
Yeah.
And I believe more attention could be paid to that if we have the latitude of thinking more broadly.
Right.
And not, yeah,
Which, when we're freed up from some of the monotonous work we have to do, then we
Right.
can think more broadly.
right.
And I think we've only, we're just all so busy with our to-do list and everything that we're behind on, that if we get freed up, what's possible?
Okay.
That's my optimistic viewpoint.
Oh, well, I think we're lucky to have you. Let's talk about you a little bit here. Like many women in midlife, you are the result of shifts.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
And about being a queenager.
Oh, Queenager's the best
Queenager,
ever.
it is,
Right?
okay.
Well, you probably know. So I'm the mother of 3
Okay.
amazing humans, and they are all launched. My youngest just graduated from college. So, wow. To be, those of you who are listening, to be in this phase, wow. Because as a woman and a mother and a daughter, my father lived with us for 8 of his final 10 years. The caretaking gene was in full force. Well, I did my job,
Right.
and my parents have moved on, and my kids are launched. And so, Queenager. Personally, I have begun my own Eat, Pray, Love journey. Remember Eat, Pray, Love, that
Yeah.
amazing book? What does that mean? It means, well, I can pick up and go anywhere, anytime. I did a little stint in Italy last year,
Nice.
and so it's my turn. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what Queenager means. And fortunately, you have the wisdom where most things don't bother you anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth it, right? We've seen too much at this point. Like, pick your battles, and most of them aren't worth it.
What role do women friendships play?
Could we survive without the sisterhood?
Right.
Oh, my heavens. I'm getting together this weekend with my college friends. We've known each other for decades, and it's just such a beautiful journey. I don't know if it's the same for men. It seems a little different for men, but we need our tribe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I've always been intrigued with that. I guess maybe some of the vulnerability that women are willing to get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
with each other.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the caregiving roles affect that you want to share about all that and
Yeah.
yourself as well. And that isn't necessarily the case for how men are encouraged to develop in
Yeah.
general, maybe.
Yeah, maybe,
And
yeah.
different cultures, maybe it's different.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do without the tribe, and multi-generational. I've got somebody who's 20 years younger than me, and I've got
Yeah.
somebody who's 20 years older than me, and
Yeah.
it's just this beautiful fabric. It's beautiful. I know. What would we do without the sisterhood?
So let's talk about your college degree in art history.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
and
that
how
about?
that, in your mind, enables you to engage in critical and creative thinking. And you've been in technology for what, about 30 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just followed my passion, which was the arts. I did it as undergraduate, and then I did it as a graduate degree, master's in art history. My first career was in the art world as museum curator. And then I got smitten. There was an intersection between art and technology. A professor of mine was helping run a tech company that was art related. So then I took the leap, and that's when I
Okay.
left the art business. But I actually feel as though, remember the last 20 plus years, it's been don't do humanities, go do something more
You can get a job.
useful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accounting, lawyering, whatever. I actually think this is the era of the humanities. This is the era because we need creative thinkers. We need polymaths. We need people who connect the dots. Resourcefulness. To me, those are the artists of the world that have been undervalued, perhaps, or I don't know.
Not being seen as having a practical
Exactly,
usefulness.
exactly. But now, I mean, they're the ones who are tapped in, and we need higher order thinkers and creators. So I just honestly feel like our renaissance is just right here. We're just right here, you know?
Now, when you studied art history, did you gain an appreciation for people like developments you talk about, like the Industrial Revolution and so forth? So art history must
Yeah. Oh, all of
be
those.
based on all that.
Yes.
Like what was
Yes.
happening in the world when.
Exactly. It's the
Yep.
history of art and why was the art created and why did the art look that way at that time? It's because it was reflecting the culture. So to me, that's fascinating. And again, I map it now to medieval dark ages. Come on, we had COVID, they had the Black Plague. Like it's
Right.
fascinating. And then they burst forth with their renaissance, and I think ours is coming.
Well, that's a very optimistic. Absolutely.
I do. I think it's possible. Jury's
And-
out.
And we all need cheerleaders in our lives, people who say you can do.
Yeah.
So who has influenced you?
Well, I had amazing parents to start
Okay.
with, bless them. And then I've had amazing mentors. I've had great women business mentors. And then the sisterhood. Because I don't know about you, I was talking to a young woman today who just got her PhD in AI. I'm like, whoa, you have a
Whoa.
PhD in AI.
I didn't
wow.
know you could get one of those.
She's a rock star.
Okay.
And her confidence is not quite as where I think it should be. I saw in her what she couldn't see in herself.
Yeah.
And I said, don't you undervalue yourself.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how valuable you are. And so it's the sisterhood again that sees the brilliance in each other and is not afraid to express it because we're not competing with each other. I've never had any of that mean girl stuff.
No?
No,
Oh,
no.
Wow, that's wonderful.
I
No,
know.
I can't say I was feeling victimized by women at any point, overly competitive. I made great friendships when I worked in large companies, et cetera, with women that I have to this day. But I don't know, I've seen a fair amount of mean girl stuff. So
Yeah,
the
I think you were in
competitiveness-
corporate, right? I
Yeah.
think maybe I've always been in the startup field, and maybe it's a little bit different.
Okay.
We're all just, running with our hair on fire.
Have you reflect on your many growth experiences? So what advice would you give yourself at, say, 25 or 40?
I would give the advice to myself that I just gave to this young woman. Do not underestimate how amazing you are. Women tend to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why we do that. You've heard the anecdote where if there's a man and a woman applying for a job,
Yeah.
and they each have 8 of the qualities, the man's like, I've got this, and the woman's focusing on the 2 she doesn't have.
Right.
Why are we like that? I don't
And
know.
the man is like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And then he runs out and figures out how to do
I
it.
know.
Right?
I know.
Yeah.
So I said to her today, I said, just ask yourself, what would a man do? Because I think as women, we kind of need to step into that, just claim our power.
Studies show that when girls kind of get into puberty, say like starting at 10, 12, into the teens, they are affected largely, or mostly, by how society, what signals they're getting, the whole youth and beauty thing I talked
Yeah.
a little bit about
Yeah.
with you before we started. I think it can be a little disorienting or another layer. It's not to say, I just have one daughter, I don't have sons, so I'm sure mothers of sons see struggles that they have and wanting to be, masculine athletes, whatever messages are important. But it does seem like women get knocked off track at some point, that
Yeah.
there's a lot of societal
Yeah.
pressure that's fairly stubborn. And there's an element of biology and all that, right?
Yeah. Our beauty culture is
Well, that's what, yeah.
is a little, to me, I mean, I don't dye my hair. You know, partly because I just can't be bothered,
Right.
but partly because I don't quite understand why we're telling women as we age that we should look younger than our age.
What about in your more entry into midlife, like 40 and so forth?
I have just, I have a feeling you'll agree, you've had a similar experience. I just feel like every year gets better. It doesn't get easier. There's deaths, there's all kinds of things, divorces, but it just gets better because we get more solid in who we are, wiser, more confident, just don't worry about things the way we used to. I didn't really struggle with menopause or anything like that. I just, I made a major life change. I ended a marriage after 20 years. But that was okay. You know, we amicably separated.
Okay.
And, you know, somehow we all make it through, and the goal is to keep smiling, right?
Right. Onward.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite quote, mantra, etc.?
I have a few, but the one that is hanging on my doorknob is, what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail?
I love that.
Right? That's right, by Robert
Absolutely.
Schuller. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh, yeah, good question.
Okay. Thank you so much. This has been
Thank
terrific.
you.
We're all much more informed and optimistic about
Good.
AI emerging.
Good.
So, and thank you for listening. And please tune in to future episodes of Midlife Matters. I'm Georgianne Lucier, your host. Thanks for joining us.